Hey, and what's up guys, and welcome back to the Man United Daily YouTube channel. And obviously there's was going to be a lot of requests as to why I was away, and if you follow me on Twitter, I would have said, you would have found out there. And the reason was that because now at university, obviously I have a lot less time in order to do the videos. I still enjoyed making them for you guys immensely, but it's just the workload and just the whole lifestyle is a bit manic and a bit hectic, so there's not a lot of time in order for me to get the videos done for you guys. But I'm home for Christmas, and obviously I'm home for the summer as well, a long summer, and then that will be the main and prime time where I'll be churning out a lot of videos regarding transfer news, etc. Obviously I will do some leading up to January, but then obviously it goes back because we'll be moving back to university kind of like mid-January, so that will be when the video stops for a little while until the summer again. So that's the first kind of like thing I wanted to just tell you guys, that I would like to do it all the time, but it's just the scheduling of it is a bit hard to do. So you just have to bear with me guys, be patient, and obviously I will try as hard as I can to produce as many as videos as I can. That's the first thing I wanted to catch up with you guys on. And the next thing I just want to talk is just the general kind of like my view on United so far. Obviously not brilliant because the last time I spoke to you guys, we were talking about in the Capital One Cup just beating Liverpool, and everyone was going a bit slowly. We were kind of like 4th or 5th by then. Obviously it's gone downhill since then, but I didn't have the chance to talk about the City game, etc. Obviously it's been hard on the team, whether it's injuries inflicted, crisis, Van Persie, Carrick, etc. I think it's going to be a transitional period, definitely. Obviously now you guys say it's hindsight, but it was never going to be easy replacing Sir Alex Ferguson, and I think that has been highlighted by this period. Obviously David Moyes hasn't helped himself by kind of like the summer of transfer merry-go-round, but I think there is a lot of validity in the claims about the £100 million bid for Gareth Bale in the summer. That really gives me a bit of hope because it shows that we do definitely have the money, and we are just waiting for the right player. It's better to have that than making false accusations in order to just please the fans. So I think that's a real positive note for David Moyes and the board as well. Ed Woodward, obviously he has a lot of criticisms over the summer, but hopefully with the real firm know-how of that, the suffering that we did during the summer will put him in good stead. And obviously now the fans, we know that there is money. Hopefully that will be spent in the summer, if not in January. So just leading from that point, I just want to talk about a few transfer targets that perhaps may be taking place over in January. I'm not too optimistic myself because United have been have a long tradition about not getting a lot of players through January. Also, we had a couple times, but it's not really a thing that we do usually, and it's none of the significant players or transfer targets that you would think world top class players are going to come in January anyway. And if they do, they will be ineligible for the major competitions, obviously the Champions League being one, and if they're bought domestically, then they can't compete on the cup fronts as well. So I just got 3 for you guys. It's not a comprehensive list by no means. It's just 3 that I think will definitely add something to the squad if they do come in. Obviously the first one is Herrera. You guys probably know a lot about him by now after the transfer debacle in the summer. We were close to getting Herrera, but in the end David Moyes wasn't comfortable with the figure that Bilbao quoted for around 31 million euros, I think was his release clause. And if that was the case, then he would be the most expensive player we've ever bought. And to put a price tag on Herrera is it's a lot of pressure, and if you compare it to some of the players we have bought with, the 29, 28 million pounds so far, then I think it would be a lot of, stress for him, and to be put him in unnecessarily, in that sort of environment where everyone's going to expect miracles from him. Where, Herrera, I think he's a good player, but would I put him in, the top class players? No, because he is 24 now, approaching 25, and I don't think he has, he to me personally, I think he's a really good player, but, he doesn't crack it into, that top kind of like 10% of players who are, exceptional and would add world-class quality into my midfield. Do I see this one happening in January? Maybe, if the price is right. Obviously, Bilbao, they're not a selling club. They got a very good, financial backing because of the, academy and the philosophy of the club about not selling their own players. But I think if we were to get a deal for around 15 to 18 million pound, that would be, to me, a good deal for Herrera. But anything pushing beyond the 20 million pound mark would be, a bit of a risk, in my opinion, because he has lost a bit of form. So, to me, I don't think Herrera will be worth 20 plus million. But out of 10, I would give this one about a 5, depending on the price and also the stance that Bilbao wants to take with him. So 5 out of 10 for Herrera. What do you guys think of that particular rumour? Leave your comment below. The next one is, a controversial one, and it's to do with Marco Reus. Obviously, brilliant player for Borussia Dortmund, probably arguably their main player now that Mario Götze has left. Came through their academy system, went to Mönchengladbach for a couple of years, then came back, and he may become now the fulcrum of that Dortmund side, along with, arguably Lewandowski. But Marco Reus, reportedly a buyout clause of around 35 million euros, but Jon Arge Klintorf, I think, on Twitter. Sorry to butcher your name there. He tweeted, and I responded, and he tweeted back saying that although there is a buyout clause, it won't be kind of like activated until the summer of 2015. So that tells its own story, because if we were able to want to buy Marco Reus this January, it's going to take a lot of money because of that, the clause not being activated right now. So for Reus, with his age 24, I think it will take about 35 million pounds, and because he has played in Champions League this season, it would automatically rule him out for the latter stages with United. So I think that would in turn put the deal off. But would I see it in the summer? I think if there was other interest from City, potentially say Madrid, just for another name in there, then I think United can and should try to get another bid in there, because Marco Reus, I think he is a really good player, but not only is he good technically, he chases back, he offers a lot in defensive work because of the Dortmund kind of like philosophy, and with that Dortmund connection, we do have Shinji Kagawa, and as much as I don't want to say it, he can potentially be a make weight in that deal if we were going to make it. And he does add and have kind of like a temptation for Dortmund if they do want to get a deal done. So I think potentially that could be done. But for January, I'll give this one a 2 out of 10, just because of the unrealistic price and also the ineligibility of him if he were to come in the latter stages of the Champions League. So in that regard, 2 out of 10. What do you guys think of Marco Reus? It will be interesting in the next summer or two whether we go back for him. But as of now, I think 2 out of 10 is a really good estimate on this transfer deal. And the last player I think is not really. It's a different one really. It's to do with one of our own, and it's Nick Powell. Obviously, he is on loan at Wigan at the moment and scoring a few goals for them, including a particularly good goal. That overhead kick in the Championship the other day. I can't remember exactly who it was against, but it was a really good goal. And Nick Powell, I think, will add a lot of substance to our midfield if we were going to get recall back in January. I did a video on the channel about the top 5 youngsters, and I included Nick Powell in that bracket of the top 5. And I think Nick Powell, as I tweeted as well on Twitter, I do expect big things from him for next season when he comes back. And he's already shown that he can flourish playing football at a higher level than he did at Crewe and at Wigan. I think they play good football, and Nick Powell has been flourishing. And a lot of people have been talking about Ross Barkley. Nick Powell, remember, is a couple months younger than Barkley, and arguably I think has as much quality, if not a bit just short of Barkley, because of Barkley obviously playing in the Barclays Premier League this season. Nick Powell, I don't think will be far short of the of Barkley if he was given a chance to play week in week out in this year's competition either. Nick Powell on loan, I think he would add a lot to our midfield. Obviously with Carrick being out, Tom Curry starting to pick up his form, Ryan Giggs, evergreen, but you can't really always rely on him to produce and play every 2-3 days. So I think Nick Powell would be a good option. Anderson, good character, it seems like, in the dressing room, but you need more than good character in order to play football at Manchester United. So Anderson, if he goes, then I wouldn't have any hesitation in recalling Nick Powell, because I think Nick Powell would thrive on the big stage now, and as you've seen for Januzaj, Nick Powell I think would be a good addition to the squad this January if he were to get recalled. And he showed that he has the necessary quality in order to play at least in the cup games, or even against the supposed lower side games in the Premier League. So I think Nick Powell, I think David Moyes would be wise to bring him back just to play him in a couple of games, integrate him, prepare him for the next season in order to be comfortable around with the senior players in the dressing room. So I think that's a bit of a twist in the end there, but I think it would be a good option for David Moyes to recall Nick Powell this January. What do you guys think of that particular kind of interesting opinion of mine? Do you agree with it? Would you send him to a Premier League side, etc.? So leave your comments on that one. And so to just round up the video, I'm glad that I'm back doing this for you guys. I don't know how many videos I'll press out during the next few weeks, but I'll try to do at least 2 or 3 before I go back to university. So if you like this video, guys, please rate, comment below, and I'll try to respond as soon as I can. And then also subscribe to the channel for more content. Obviously, please be patient with me, but I'll try my hardest to get as much content out as I can. And always keep in contact with me on Twitter, because that'll be the quickest way for me to respond back at ManUnitedDaily. So again, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you soon. Thanks again, and bye.